If you haven't seen the first part of the BBBE challenge, where I tried to lose 200 pounds doing carnivore, you can look back on the last video, and I will also link it up in the corner. This is my third day eating this way, and I'm preparing my bone broth for this morning. This is chicken bone broth that I just heated in the microwave. I put in some electrolytes, I'm just mixing it up. And then afterwards I'm putting in some pasteurized eggs, about 2 eggs worth, and I'm just mixing that in as well. And there's also a little beef tallow in it just to make it really filling and satisfying for me. This doesn't taste of that much. The broth is a little salty and the eggs are really mild in the flavor. So it's just like having an egg soup. A little later on in the day, I was just scrambling up a few eggs from my hens, and just look at that really beautiful orange color of the yolks. I put in a little dollop of butter and then I just fried them up. I like to make a soft scramble so that it's not dry. That's just how it tastes the best to me. To make sure that I will be filled up by this and that I am getting enough fat, I just put on some more butter and I'm sprinkling a little salt. And this is my lunch for the day. This is really easy, cheap and filling. And now that I have so many chickens, this is one of the ways that I can use up some of all of those eggs. In the afternoon I had a sparkling water. This is with the raspberry and rhubarb flavor, and there's of course no sugars or artificial sweeteners or anything in this. Later on in the afternoon I felt a little hungry again, so I put some butter into my blender, poured on some boiling water, and while it was blending I poured in some of those pasteurized eggs, and it's just like an egg milk. I would usually do this into coffee, but I'm not drinking coffee doing this challenge, so I'm just drinking the egg milk, and it's really filling and satisfying, even though it's very mild tasting, almost no flavor. For dinner I was making this beef, and I don't know the name for it in English. In Danish it is called tværreb, and it's kind of from the belly of the cow, and it can be a little tough meat, so I put it into my pressure cooker with some salt and water, and I pressure cooked it for about an hour or so. And then when it was done, I put it into my air fryer just for a few minutes to crisp it up a little, and it's really soft and moist and extremely tender and flavorful. And it's really filling because of all of that fat. So that was my dinner for this day, and I didn't need a very big portion because it was so fatty. But even though I got a little hungry later on. So I had a few pork rinds. And this is the next day, where I'm having one of those patties that I made in the last video. I just cut it in half and put some butter inside, and this is my breakfast for this day. It's really easy to make because I already made all of those patties, and it's filling, and yeah, it gets the job done, even though it's not the most exciting kind of food. And for lunch I had some more of that beef roast from yesterday. And I also had a few of these soft boiled eggs. And now I'm preparing the dinner. This is beef tenderloin that I cut into smaller pieces and salted them, and then I just fried them for a really short time, and I vacuum sealed them with some more beef tallow, and now I'm going to sous vide them in my Instant Pot. And they are getting so tender and really delicious. So the drippings from all of that meat I put onto a pan with some butter, and I'm just heating it up and kind of making a pan sauce out of it. It's only those drippings, salt and fat. So it's really easy and there's nothing into it other than that. Then I could cut up some of the tenderloins and I will pour on that sauce, and that will be my dinner for this evening. Right before bed I felt a little hungry, so I had one of the beef patties with some butter, just like the other patty that I had for breakfast. If I'm hungry when I'm going to sleep, I just cannot sleep, so I have to eat a little something even though I don't want to, but that's just how it is. And this is all that I ate the first week of the challenge. The next week I haven't filmed, but I made a weighing, and the first day when I started I was at 145.1 kilos and I lost just over 4 kilos. So of course a lot of it was water, but I think I also lost some fat because I made some measurements on my body and it has shrunken a little. And this is all of the food that I have logged into Chronometer. So as you can see, I ate about 2,000 to 2,500 calories a day, and I'm burning between 3,000 and 3,500 calories a day. So I was in a deficit every day. So now I have been eating this way for the past 2 weeks, and it's definitely not a way that I can just continue to eat because it's very boring for me. I like different flavors and textures and so on, and only salting my meat, well, I didn't enjoy eating that much. It got the job done, I got filled up and I got nourished, but I already started to put in some spices and other stuff, but I will try to keep it as carnivore as I can, just to see if I can feel any better and still lose weight as well. I'm also using a little cream and milk now, and I had some veggies as well. But I'll try to see the next couple of weeks, a month, how I can tweak things so that it's a little more enjoyable, but also kind of strict, but not as strict as it has been. So as I mentioned, I lost about 4 kilos and that was really nice. Of course, some of it was water weight. I think at least half of it was water weight, but still I measured different places on my body and I lost some centimeters, so I must also have lost some fat, and that's really nice because my weight has been stalled for almost 3 months. So just to see that moving again, that's really nice. In these 2 weeks I really focused on being full and satisfied, and I didn't really focus on how many times a day I was eating. So if I had to eat twice, that was just what it was, and sometimes I ate maybe 5 or 6 times. And as I have researched this, that's really important to not just go along a time without eating if you're really hungry, because that means that your body needs it. And if you're eating like this, like really strict carnivore, you won't eat too much because it's just not enjoyable, and your body can say when it's full. If I was eating a standard diet, my body couldn't say that I was full. I could eat twice as much and still be hungry because I didn't get all of the nutrients that I needed. So a lot of people are doing fasting and intermittent fasting, and I also done that, and some days I do it just because I'm not hungry, so it just comes by itself. But I'm not trying to force my body into not eating anything if I need it. That's not always the best way to force yourself to not eating if you need it, because maybe that's why I haven't lost weight for such a long time, because I didn't eat enough. It's not always just calories in, calories out, but I was still in a deficit in this period. So that's also why I lost weight. I didn't feel that much better doing this. I still have a lot of pain and inflammation, but I guess I have to be strict for a lot longer to really feel the difference in my body. But I just cannot be this strict all of the time. So I have to figure out what's exactly causing the inflammation and then try to eliminate those things. But that will be a project that will go on for a longer time. So if you want to follow along and see how I'm losing these 200 pounds, please subscribe and like and comment if you want to. But just leave some nice comments. I don't want all of that other stuff, if you know what I mean. And I already lost about 50 pounds, so it's going the right direction, but there's still a long way to go. So thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.